been a long time coming, a lot of hard work, and you know, to get it over the line, we were very, very pleased.
This is definitely going to be going off what you just mentioned. Have you reached out to other fighters now that you do have Mikey?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, Saudi Arabia are very interested in a fight in sort of May time between Mikey Garcia, even a winner of this fight, and Manny Pacquiao. So, you know, there's a lot of rumours about Pacquiao. His deal's up, he's got another fight, he can get out of his deal, whatever. At the end of the day, a lot of those PBC fighters don't have promotional contracts. They do have the ability to take fights. I mean, we just made Jermall Charlo a massive offer to fight Demetrius Andrade, unification fight. It's a one-fight deal. You know, I'm not, for us, locking in guys and making them feel like they've got to make this huge commitment isn't the be-all and end-all. It's more about providing an unrivaled schedule, which I believe the Zone are doing now. So if we can bring these guys in, Jesse's always had a fight-by-fight deal with PBC. Now he's got a fight-by-fight deal with us. The only difference is we have matching rights moving forward. We're not going to let him go. So for me, it's a multi-fight deal, but we've got to deliver for him as well. And a lot of these guys out there, if they don't feel comfortable, if people have warped their mind that much that this isn't the place for them, take the one fight, take the money. Look at Jose Ramirez. You know, he made a career high payday by a mile to fight Maurice Hooker, unified the division, and then went back to ESPN. Jermall Charlo can do the same. He can't get a big fight at middleweight without fighting on DAZN, so let him do that, and if he wants to stay and fight Canelo after, he can, and if he wants to go back to Fox, etc., then let him do that.
Are you afraid you're going to burn through the budget?
No, I think you know, I think the budget is solid. You know, there's no signs, and you know, I would know because I live in that world, and there's no signs of, oh, slow down. We don't want to consistently overpay fighters, but we also understand that when we enter the market as we did, we had to overpay fighters. We'll continue to do that, and good luck to the fighters. Congratulations, they deserve it. But we've also got to be smarter, and the focus has got to be more on making good fights rather than just A side against D side. Do you know what I mean? We've got to do that more consistently. Like, we could have signed Mikey Garcia and put him in with anyone at £147. Thankfully, Mikey didn't want to do that, but in this deal, in this day and age, that's sometimes how you lure a fighter in. You say, right, you get an easy fight and then you have to do this. People like Tevin Farmer's a good example. You know, he's had a couple of easier defences, now go and fight Jojo Diaz. Perfect. Demetrius Andrade, you've had your defences, now go and fight Jermall Charlo. You know, Danny Jacobs, you know, come out of a Canelo fight, move straight into a Chavez fight, got to go. Billy Joe Saunders had a relatively straightforward fight, although made hard work of it. Go and fight Canelo Alvarez. So it's about putting together the schedule.
These one-fight deals are something that you're going to...
Well, this is the only one we've done. But, you know, for us, like, you have to understand, DAZN want us to build the best platform, but most importantly, the best schedule. So when we go to DAZN about Mikey Garcia, they're not necessarily looking at August, September, October. They're saying, what are you delivering in January, March and February? Or January, February and March. I think that's how it goes.
Right.
And we come back now and say, right, January the 30th, we've got Demetrius Andrade, we've got Tevin Farmer, Jojo Diaz, we've got Danny Roman against Ahmed Aliyev. We'll probably throw in Jake Paul as well for a bit of fun. And then in February, we've got Mikey Garcia against Jesse Vargas. And then in March, we've got X. So that's our job, and that's job done. Because what's happened in the last 7 or 8 weeks is a huge, hundreds of thousands, you know, approaching 7 figures of subscribers have come onto the platform through Canelo Kovalev, through KSI Logan Paul, and through Joshua against Andy Ruiz. We're in such a great position now, but it's about momentum. And in this business, you can gain subscribers like that, and you can lose subscribers like that if you don't put the schedule together. But I'm almost tired now of saying, and I will say it again because I think it's so important, if you are spending $80 on one night of action on a pay-per-view event, how can you not spend $99 for a 12-month subscription to DAZN with Canelo, with Triple G, with Anthony Joshua, with Mikey Garcia, with Usyk, with Rungvisai, with Estrada, with Danny Jacobs, Demetrius Andrade, Tevin Farmer, Dimitri Bivol. I probably missed out a few as well. All our UK shows, Bellator, you know, the Devin Haney, there's a manager. Thank you, sir. You would have got me in trouble. He's injured at the moment, so you know, it's unquestionable. And now I feel like we've actually got that momentum now, where we've got all the fight fans. They're all on board. Now we've got to do the big enough events to reach out to the casual market. We saw that with Joshua Ruiz. We see that with Canelo all the time. We saw that with KSI Logan Paul. You'll see it with Mikey Garcia.
You mentioned January or February. What are you going to tell the people who want to cancel in March? Is that where you bring?
No, but that's the key.
Is that where
Triple G will probably box in March, and then you've got in April be Anthony Joshua. In May it'll be Canelo Alvarez. But that's when you can say, like, in a dream world, DAZN are new to boxing. Like, in their ideal world, they want to go to subscribers in January and go, this is our year. We all know in boxing how difficult that is, but certainly I believe we can get to May or June and say this is how it looks so far. And when you look at those fights that we've just mentioned there, like, it's an absolute no-brainer. I actually feel that DAZN, I could never make this decision, but I feel like they should be pushing that annual subscription so hard, and almost if you want to jump in or jump out, it's almost like a penalty, right? And they've done that because it's $19.99 a month. But fuck it, make it $40 a month. Like, you've got to come in for the year, and that's how you grow the fan base. You grow subscribers, you grow the audience. Now we're seeing that our audience, and I've told DAZN, you have to release the numbers from Joshua Ruiz, because they smashed out anything we've ever achieved on Showtime for Anthony Joshua, right? And this fight took place in Saudi Arabia at 3 o'clock in the middle of a college game. So right now, the argument that we initially had, which was a correct one, where people would say, your audience isn't big enough on DAZN. That's not even an argument anymore, you know? But we can only maintain that if we keep a great schedule.
So let's talk about the actual fights. You mentioned Triple G in March, Canelo in May. Are they not going to be fighting each other?
For me, I don't think so. I think that's something that DAZN will want to push. My business is Gennady Golovkin. I can't talk on behalf of Canelo Alvarez. The feeling I get is that Canelo's next fight will come from Demetrius Andrade, Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders. Probably the last two.
You're winning regardless.
Yeah, because I think he'll want to fight at 168. That's what I think. So right now, and if he doesn't fight Smith or Saunders, they'll fight each other in a unification fight. So Joshua's got Pulev or Usyk. Gennady Golovkin's got his mandatory in Zerameta. Canelo's going to fight Billy Joe or Callum Smith. You know, we've got our February sorted, we've got our January sorted. So we're getting there. And there's loads of stuff in the middle as well, but there's got to be key moments every month. That's what DAZN want. You know, it's all very well having a schedule of 8 out of 10s. Where's the 9s and the 10s? And that's what we've got to produce. And we saw, you know, even with KSI Logan Paul, I know it wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but you can't ignore the numbers. Like, we're looking at the numbers, not just on DAZN, the pay-per-views on Sky, the global buys on Fight.tv. Like, it's mind-blowing. So we've got to sprinkle a little bit of that in as well.
You mentioned it broke some records. What records did it break? Because I know
it broke for the UK. It broke, obviously, outside of the boxing events, for example, so anything non-boxing related, it broke the pay-per-view number for that. In territories all around the world on Fight.tv, I think it broke virtually every territory that it was available to on Fight.tv. It did more subscribers than Canelo against Kovalev a couple of weeks before that. So, like, we've never seen anything like it. Not just the records on the night, but the records in the build-up. The weigh-in was the most streamed event ever on Sky Sports website and YouTube channel. Like, these guys are streaming Premier League football, everything. So that was a real experience for us. And it's not just a case of...
I think you meant in terms of DAZN records.
Oh, on DAZN. No, on DAZN it just did more than the Canelo. It was the most watched fight on DAZN at the time.
Of the year, or just...
No, Joshua Ruiz. But at the time when it went, it was the most watched fight on DAZN.
You just mentioned Joshua has Pulev to deal with. Have you spoken to Joshua about possibly vacating one of those titles?
Yeah, he doesn't want to. Like, you know, he loves the belts, and I think that this is a sensible, common sense conversation that we have between the governing bodies. We've written to the IBF and the WBO and said, look, who goes first? You can't just hold him to ransom and say he's got to vacate one. There's a rotational system that chronologically should tell you who goes first. For me, I believe that's the IBF, but I also represent Usyk, so I've got to push for Usyk as well, and it's a bit of a messy situation. So, like, Joshua will defend against who he's got to defend against. At the same time, he really wants the undisputed fight, so we'll see what happens on February 22nd. But I do believe his next fight will be in April, and my gut feeling is it will be against Kubrat Pulev.
Where does Usyk go from there?
So Usyk, for me, the offer that we've made him is, if the IBF do go first, he should fight Chisora on March the 7th. I feel like Usyk Joshua is a mega fight, but it's not yet. Do you know what I mean? So if he goes and fights Chisora, has a big heavyweight fight, I think that fight could be a monster fight at the back end of next year. But again, what we don't want to do is, it seems like on this undisputed fight, we're always waiting for something. So now we're waiting for February 22nd.
Were you surprised how buddy Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury were earlier this week?
I think they've both overcome adversity. I think they have that respect for each other. I mean, listen, Tyson Fury will FaceTime me at 2 o'clock in the morning, screaming and shouting down the phone. No, not in a good way, like, yeah, Dossa, when are you going to sign a real heavyweight like me? Blah, blah. And like that, and he'll do the same to Joshua. And sometimes Joshua will text him and tell him he's going to knock him out, and then he'll call Joshua, and it's just a mad, crazy setup. But I think there is a genuine respect for each other, and I think Fury respects AJ for coming back from what he come from, what happened, and beating Andy Ruiz. And you can't not respect Tyson Fury for what he's come back from, because I had a meeting with him at his heaviest, and I just looked at him and said, you will never ever fight again. So I think they respect each other. They both want to beat each other. They're both desperate to fight each other, and that fight will happen, as AJ said, a lot quicker than the Wilder fight would happen if they both won. If Fury loses, they will 100% fight at some point in their career, because it's too big a fight not to. And AJ's now, with all the experience he's been through with the defeat and everything, I think he's just about competition, and he wants to test himself against Fury, because he enjoyed so much the improvements that he made in the camp for Andy Ruiz, and he really enjoyed the performance. Now, some people say it wasn't as exciting as it normally was. Yeah, there was a lot on the line. But what there was, the same people that said he couldn't box for 12 rounds, same people said he had no footwork, same people said that his jab weren't good enough. And where are they all coming out saying, no, fair enough now? All they're saying is Andy Ruiz weren't in great shape. Well, guess fucking what? Andy Ruiz has never been in great shape. Andy Ruiz weren't in great shape for the first fight, but he's got fast hands and he can punch, and he's very, very dangerous. So give him the credit, just like we gave Ruiz the credit in the first fight. Joshua had a dozen excuses why he lost on June the 1st. Did you hear one of them? No. He refused to give one excuse. People saying about, you got knocked out in sparring, panic attack, that was all bollocks. But there was a lot that happened in that camp that affected him in the fight, right? He's never mentioned one, and he will never mention one. I don't want to mention it because he won't mention it. Nothing that's going to make you go, oh. But things that happen, he's talked about mainly about his health, where he wasn't firing on all cylinders, and maybe the team should have got together, and maybe we shouldn't take that fight, maybe. But my God, did it fucking work out well in the end.
Does Fury call you from a block number?
No. I'll tell you the last time I was in bed. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm laying there, and I've got this thing where my wife just constantly tells me, get off the phone. So when I get into bed, I roll over on one side. I'm sure you all do it, and you're like, whether you're looking at Twitter or you're watching a game or something, and you're on the phone, and then all of a sudden hear a noise. What was that? Put it under the pillow or whatever it does. So I'm laying there and I'm like, I actually fallen asleep. I'm like, Fury, FaceTime. I'm like, fuck that. Anyway, just turn that one off. Anyway, go and see. FaceTime. And then a text, call me ASAP. Now I'm like, why? I don't even really know the guy. Do you know what I mean? So, what on earth could you want? Are you out having a beer? Are you just bored at home? Are you with some mates that you want to have a laugh? Sometimes he's done it before, where he's called me where he's doing an after dinner speech, in front of thousands of people, and he'll call me. He'll go, I'll call Eddie Hearn now. Next thing. So I'm thinking, do you know what? I'll leave it. Call me. So I phone him back, and he's just like I said, Eddie, you Dossa, when you going to sign a real heavyweight like me? Woo! Like this. I'm like, yeah. I did that time. I called him back, just in case he needed. I don't know, he had a flat tire or something. Needed big.
That's nice of you.
Yeah. But I, although we have our back and forth, I do have a lot of respect for Tyson Fury. I do think he's an outstanding fighter. I just feel like, and I've always felt, that AJ would beat him. But maybe I'm wrong. But let's find out. It's a great time for the sport, where really you've got all these heavyweights now. You've probably got 6 or 7 heavyweights that could beat anyone on their given night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Dillian Whyte. I'm talking about Usyk. You saw a great fight between Povetkin and Hunter. Luis Ortiz is dangerous.
Wilder.
But they're the champion. Wilder. Joshua, even Andy Ruiz. Like anyone can beat anyone, and that's what's so exciting because it's all very well having the champions, but if they've got no competition, and what if Klitschko came back? Someone like that. I mean, that would just be another dynamic to the division. So, I think it's really exciting.
Ruiz was talking about it there.
Yeah. In time, maybe. Like I think right now with the mandatories and with the undisputed fight, I can't see how that's on the radar. But what I can see is that Ruiz is super exciting and he's dangerous. Like even there were times in that fight, although Joshua schooled him, all of a sudden, like Joshua said, you'd be in a clinch with him. He said, and he just bounce you off. And next thing, boom, 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 like back of the head, side of the head, speed. Like Ruiz is a really good fighter. I just feel that he got schooled. I would have preferred it. I said to Louis de Cubas, I said, he was better off coming out after the fight saying, got beat by the better man. I got schooled tonight. He had the perfect game plan and he beat me. We all know that when you win the lottery and, the next few months after that, of course you're going to go partying. Of course you're going to eat too much. Andy Ruiz has always had discipline problems. But sometimes it takes losing something to realise how much you wanted it. And just like Joshua had to bounce back from, let's be honest, humiliation at Madison Square Garden, to work so hard in camp and put that game plan together and execute that game plan because he realised how much he said to me in the build up to that fight, when I gave him the belts at that press conference, I didn't want them anymore. Like I was just like, here, take them. They're fucking heavy, like that was his mentality. When he lost, he's like, shit, I fucking want those belts back so bad. And I bet Andy Ruiz is now thinking to himself, shit, I made a mistake. Just like Joshua made a mistake, he made a mistake. And he's got to come back from that. And you will probably see him now. I bet he's in the gym now, maybe not now, but I bet but what a lot of fighters do is they finish their fight, they go straight back in the gym. He said whether they stay in the gym. Some stay for a day, some stay for 2 weeks, some stay for 2 months. But it'll be interesting to see what Andy Ruiz, I know because I paid it in myself, he's just made a fortune that will change his life forever. Good luck to him. He's changed his family's life, he's got a couple of nice houses, he's got a few Rolls Royces, I think he's thrown in a Lamborghini Urus, I think there'll be a couple of other things on the way as well. Good luck to him. Good luck to him.
Eddie, the fight took place in Saudi Arabia. You brought Logan Paul, you're building a purpose-built stadium in Miami. Yeah. What's your wish list for 2020 for some new and exciting things you want to try?
I'd like to make the Undisputed Championship. I mean, that's something that can work in any market. I mean, I would also like to stage an event in the Far East.
Where would that be?
In the Bird's Nest in China. Just be an incredible event, which we're talking about at the moment. I'm getting approaches from everybody in the Middle East to do fights, but right now Saudi were the ones that put the money up. They're the ones that put their trust in us. So we're looking to deliver a minimum of 2 events for Saudi in 2020. And the difference with Saudi is it's not we want Manny Pacquiao against
Mikey Garcia.
No, they want that fight. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's not like they want Manny Pacquiao against, I don't know, no disrespect to Thomas Delorme. Or they want the biggest of the biggest. So and if you get it, they've got the money for it. So that's what's exciting about Saudi is, that if I'm doing 2 shows in Saudi, they're going to be fucking monsters. Excuse my language.
Everyone criticized you about that, and now everyone wants to go there.
Every promoter's been trying to go to the Middle East for years. Unfortunately for us, we were the first ones that done it. We had to come back from the criticism. But the great thing, Ellie, is when you're in Saudi and someone says to you, how do you feel about you're here, with a human rights record, blah, blah, blah. I say to them, who are you to tell a fighter in a sport as dangerous as this, where they can and can't go to make money? This is boxing, this is prize fighting. And then the other thing I'll say is what are you doing here? And they say, I said, well, why are you here? Well, I'm covering the fight. I said, no, you're here to try and get as many views as possible, sell as many newspapers as possible, get people to download as many apps as possible, so you're just as big a hypocrite as anyone else. This is a fight game. It ain't a game of tennis. It's not a game of golf. They're punching each other, trying to knock each other out. Let the fighters make their money. And you know what? When everyone went there, the experience they had was unbelievable. And Saudi Arabia got a load of problems. America's got a load of problems. Saudi's probably got more. But what they are trying to do is make a change. And I can only tell you that the people we're dealing with have a genuine interest in that, and more importantly, a genuine interest in growing the sport from the grassroots up. That's what. Listen, we love making money, but if they can actually invest in the sport try and develop things in the schools and the prisons that they're looking at, trying to actually develop Saudi fighters, great. And by the way, everyone loved the experience. And by the way, they've got a load of money. And by the way, they're not going anywhere. They're going to want to get every mega fight they can in Saudi Arabia.
Now, I have to ask you this. Joshua will spar Fury. Is that dangerous for Fury? Because Joshua can open up his cut.
It's just a weird setup. Like, when he said that, I was like, when are you going to do that? Like, I know his schedule. Like, he's going on holiday next week and for a month, and then he's going to start his own camp. What's he going to do? Fly out to Big Bear for 6 rounds? You know, like. And the thing is, if Tyson Fury beats Deontay Wilder, they'll probably fight each other next. So
he's going to learn all the secrets if he's with him.
I think for me, Joshua would go tomorrow, but I think the training team would probably say, listen, if you're fighting Pulev, you know, this is who you should be sparring with. You're going to be fighting Fury. What are you doing? But Joshua, I think Joshua now has a genuine love for improvement. Like, he really fell back in love with the sport in the Andy Ruiz camp. Like, and he's now feeling like, wow, I'm really improving. And he wants to keep improving. And the way you improve is to spar great fighters. And Tyson Fury is a great fighter.
But here's the thing. Joshua lost and kept his coach.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury just let his coach go after 2 wins.
Yeah. We don't really know, do we? I mean, the only difference between that is Rob McCracken is an established world-class coach. Ben Davison might be a world-class coach, but we don't really know. He just had a world-class fighter, so time will tell. What we do know is Ben Davison done a great job in helping Tyson Fury get back in the saddle. So you have to give him a lot of respect and praise. Obviously something happened that we don't know about. They weren't happy, and he's moving on. It's a very dangerous time to change trainers before a fight like that. You know, I mean, Sugar Hill's a good trainer. Obviously, he's trained out of Kronk Gym before, so it's the same kind of methods. But then again, Fury's an enigma, isn't he? He's going to do whatever he's going to do in the ring, and that's what makes him so unpredictable.
Give us your thoughts on Luis Ortiz and a possible down the line match with Garcia.
Well, we wanted that fight. I mean, he was supposed to fight Ortiz instead of Andy Ruiz when we tried to make that fight. So I think Ortiz is very good. I do feel like Ortiz is, you know, on the slide. He is getting old, and he's really suffered 2 bad knockouts now, you know. But he's dangerous, and you know, you've got all those guys. I just hope that the guys in the mix continue to fight each other. Like, we just saw 2 top 15, top 10 guys in Hunter and Povetkin fight each other. Great. Let's see Ortiz against Kaunaki. Let's see Dillian White against Povetkin. Let's see Usyk against Chisora. Let's see Hrgovic against, I don't know, Garcia or whatever. Like, that's when you start getting a great heavyweight fight. It's not just for the World Championships, but the other guys not waiting for a shot. You know, trying to force a shot by taking these 50-50 fights.
By the way, I noticed you have every Mexican superstar right now. You picked them all up?
Yeah.
Canelo, Chavez, Mikey,
I haven't got Chavez. Oh, you mean on DAZN?
Yeah.
Yeah, who haven't we got? What Mexican star haven't we got?
Andy Ruiz, obviously.
Yeah. I guess that is about it, really, isn't it? Yeah. Good spot, Sekback.
And you called it 2 years ago as one of your goals.
Well, I think that obviously what we've seen from the subscribers base is that we have a huge amount of Hispanic subscribers, and they're very loyal, and you know, they're very passionate. So it's no secret that, you know, that's one reason we're looking to bring the top Hispanic fighters to the platform is for our subscriber base. You know? All right, mate.
One question. You mentioned earlier that you want to stop making like A-level guys versus D-level guys.
Yeah.
I think was the phrase you said. We have Triple G and Andrade fighting, let's be honest, subpar competition coming up. Luke Keeler against Andrade and Zermeta versus Triple G. Those are both in-house guys for you. What's the hold-up in making that?
So one's a mandatory, and if he don't fight Canelo, he will have to fight his mandatory. So that's Triple G. With Andrade, believe it or not, Keeler is a lot better than people think. He's number 2. He's number 2 with the WBO. But I have to be honest, I can't at the moment deliver Andrade the mega fight that he needs. I've tried. The guys aren't queuing up to fight him. Last week or this week, I made Jermall Charlo a huge offer of a 1-fight deal to come and fight Demetrius Andrade on DAZN. He can have a multi-fight, he can have 1 fight, whatever he wants, but it's kind of like those guys need each other. Andrade's got no one to, Charlo's got no one to fight, and no one really wants to fight Andrade. So you have to give Charlo all the money to say, come and fight with us, come and fight Demetrius Andrade, because really Andrade's going to miss the boat in terms of his prime to have these kind of fights. So, you know, you got Golovkin's just coming off fight of the year contender with Derevyanchenko. He's got a mandatory. Then he'll probably fight Canelo. Demetrius does need that marquee fight, but it's not through want to try. It's just.
Would you be willing to send him over if, let's say, PBC and Fox sent a matching offer in some sort?
Yeah, but they can't match the money. I mean, they can't do it. I mean, if they paid Charlo what we're offering, I'd like.
What was the offer?
No, it's not for this.
Was it more than Mikey's or was it less than Mikey's?
It's a similar kind of amount. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the time.